Hi, this is Pam again, and what I'm going to do now is talk about some of the things that's involved in your body that means that your baby is going to make a journey out into the world. So I'm going to show you, this is the uterus that the baby is sat inside of. This is the bit that's grown through pregnancy and the bit that we've been measuring and having a feel of during your antenatal visits. And this is the muscle that is going to help to put pressure on the baby's head to move the baby down through the birth canal. This is the cervix here, which is the opening to the uterus, and the cervix has an outside opening and an inside opening, and those openings have to come together and then the cervix begins to dilate. Here in the middle of here is a mucousy plug, and that, as you get later on in pregnancy and sometimes 2 weeks before you go into labour, you might lose this mucousy plug, and that is the cervix softening as the baby starts to prepare to come out. Now, we don't know what sets labour off, really, truly. We don't know what triggers it off. There's a lot of theories going around about size of baby, about certain things that get triggered off, but really nothing's been proven. But as the cervix softens towards the end of pregnancy, you might lose this mucousy plug. And here we have the birth canal that you're going to have to push baby down through that birth canal during the second stage of labour. I'll talk about the different stages of labour later on and take you through each step, but I just wanted to have a chat about overall about the process of labour. Now, as you can see, this baby here in the picture is looking at mum's back, mum's spine here. So baby's back is towards the front. And as I spoke about the other day, when baby's head is towards the front and the chin is tucked in towards the chest, and we've got a nice round, even part, stimulating nice round, even cervix, we get some nice even contractions and a nicely progressing labour. Okay, so those are some of the structures that are involved in what I'm talking about. Now, I wanted to talk about with you, why is it that we have to feel labour? Why don't we just have this baby appear between our legs in the middle of the supermarket? Well, that's because we actually want to find a nice, safe, quiet place to have our babies and share it with those that love and are going to love and support us the most through the whole process. The thing is, the feelings of labour, it's much, much more than a physical experience. It's a balance between the emotional and physical elements that are going on, and it involves our memory and meaning of the experience. The evidence is that from your own experiences of pain, fear, anxiety and stress is all going to be increased during the labour process. And what you need to actually do is think about the last time that you were in pain, and how did you cope? You know, some people are very still, some are very expressive. They like to shout that they've stubbed their toe and hop around a lot. Some become very withdrawn, very distracted, very rational. Some people like to imagine if they've got a headache and they take themselves off to bed and they lay down on the bed, then they're going to imagine that they're in some other place. Some automatically reach for some drugs, and some, if you stub your toe, you're actually going to rub your foot, and so that's a form of massaging. And some people will jump in the bath and listen to music. Everyone is different. Everyone is different in how they react to labour and to any form of pain. What you're actually going to feel the discomfort from in labour is actually the uterus muscle contracting, the cervix stretching, and eventually the stretching of the skin as the baby comes out. And it really varies from person to person as to how you feel about that process. But there's also ways that you can help yourself through the process. So there is also the hormones that we have that are vital to our progress through labour. Oxytocin is the hormone that's responsible for making the uterus contract. And we also have endorphins, which are the body's own morphines that help take us into an internal place through the process of labour, and the body's own endorphins will help with us coping with that uncomfortable and discomfort, and for some people really uncomfortable pain. And also we have adrenaline is a hormone that actually fights against us sometimes in labour. Adrenaline, when it's produced in large amounts, increases the amount of stress, increases our fear, our flight, fight instincts, and so it interrupts the process of labour. So actually what we need to do is not have that too much of that adrenaline going through our bodies through the process of labour. So we've got to cut that down, and so by cutting that down we're reducing our stress, fear and anxiety, and those are the key points that we have to think about. Now really what happens is the endorphins, what we tend to use, people describe as the jogger's high. So when you're out jogging and then you come in from exercise and you're on that high, those are your body's endorphins. So that's an example of endorphins, really. The other process, what we call relaxation, is going to help you through is just by, some people use breathing, some people use other methods of relaxation, and some people practice these processes during pregnancy of relaxation and breathing. Now what I will take you through after we've gone through the stages of labour are the different medical forms that we can use to help you through the process of labour. What you have an advantage of here in New Zealand is the fact that you more or less have a one-on-one support, which is one of the key principles of actually reducing the amount of medicated pain relief that you are going to need during labour. You have a one-to-one midwife experience that's going to help you through the process of birth, to help and support you through that process. And that is one of the key points that we have here in New Zealand. Now, one of the responsibilities, or a few of the responsibilities the midwife has for you during labour, is to look after your well-being and look after your baby's well-being. So there are monitorings that we have to do of your progress and baby's progress through labour that the midwife should do. And how we gather that information varies from midwife to midwife sometimes. If we can gather information, the whole picture, through not being as invading your space as much as possible, then we will do. But there are certain observations that we need to do. Once you are in the throes of one-to-one situation with your midwife, then she needs to be doing your blood pressure every 4 hours, checking your temperature, checking your pulse, and also listening to baby's heartbeat every half an hour, just to have a listen and check that baby is still doing okay through the process of labour. Labour is a stressful experience for the baby, but the baby's supposed to take so much stress through that labour. That stress of labour actually prepares the baby for the birth and prepares the baby for taking its first breath. And the whole process of actually moving through the birth canal actually prepares the baby and prepares the baby's lungs to take its first breath. Inside you, its lungs are full of fluid because it doesn't need to actually physically breathe in and out. It's getting all of its oxygen through the cord and from the placenta. So when baby moves down through the birth canal, the chest becomes squeezed and that fluid moves out of the lungs as the baby moves out through the birth canal. So that is why we have a natural process of birth. And as much as possible, we want women and their babies to have that natural opportunity to go through the natural process of birth. When it is necessary, then we need to move on to other things. but because sometimes Mother Nature might need a helping hand, but more or less, if there's been no problem through pregnancy and everything's been fine, then all the indications are that really we are looking at achieving a normal birth, because that's the process that we've been going through for thousands and thousands of years. So that's it just for this moment. I'll give you a break and then we'll carry on with the stages of labour.